Welcome to Traveling Light, where I take you along on my adventures and share some photographic insights as I go along. Now, I've been a photographer all my life, professional and otherwise, and one thing I love is photography. In this series, I want to firstly have fun, and secondly, learn something new. The focus is on the camera and what it can do. In the last episode, I tested out the Charmera's video capabilities down at the boardwalk at Veggies Pier. It was a fun Durban expedition, and I definitely learned a lot. The video and its audio were surprisingly good, I thought. That's if you lean into its 80s style look. So, if you're interested in the Charmera's video strengths and weaknesses, take a look at episode 4. Before we begin, I want to say this up front. I'm not sponsored by Kodak in any shape or form, or by anyone else to be honest. I paid for this camera. So, what are we doing today? Today, we're once more off on a photographic expedition. This time, we're paying a visit to Durban's Maritime Museum. I want to test out the Charmera's first set of special effects. There are 3 initial monochrome effects: warm, cool, and regular black and white. I say regular black and white because there is another pixel-based one, but we'll check out that one in a future episode. For this particular test, I'll also include a normal Charmera shot, so that for each subject I'll be shooting an identical set of 4. That's the plan. 1 normal, 1 warm, 1 cool, and 1 black and white. I want to compare apples with apples. The same ground rules apply, as always. No color correction and no cropping. I'll show you the images as shot. So, we're here. Let's start by taking a quick look around. There's so much to see, I'm not even sure where to begin. Let's start with this lady with a megaphone. She looks like she could speak volumes. This is Perla Siedle Gibson, Durban's lady in white, and she boosted morale during World War II by serenading the soldiers on passing troop ships. A true Durban hero. What do you think? Okay, remember, for each shot I'm actually shooting 4. I'm just going to stroll around and shoot what comes my way. Yeah, there's no shortage. I'm going to take a look inside. In the previous episodes, most of the shots were taken outdoors, with the best results being the ones I took in the shade. I've been asked how the Charmera copes with low light, and there's only one way to find out. Remember, ideally you want to shoot using a tripod in low light, but I want to test the Charmera handheld. I did see a very faint flash of light, so I think this is an automatic LED flash. When we assess, I'll take that into account. Okay, so what category of photograph are we taking today? I would class these images as publicity shots or stock photos. Images of this nature are typically used in brochures or websites or social media posts and such like. You want them to tell a story, perhaps on multiple levels. In this case, to give you an example, they are all nautical in nature, but each one tells its own individual tale. I try to imagine them being used in a brochure while I'm composing the shot. I find that helps me focus. I'll discuss this in more detail, image by image, when we analyze what we got. One thing's for sure, I don't think you can run out of inspiration here. So that's it for this particular trip, and that's it for Durban's Maritime Museum. It's sad to say, but things are a little run down, like so much here in Durban. I've been here before, and clearly this museum has seen better days. It really is sad to see. But from a photographic perspective, I think it was a success, so it's time to head home, load up all the images, and then we can assess. I'll admit I'm excited. Job done, we're ready to roll. As I said at the beginning, for each shot I actually took 4. A full color normal shot, then a warm, followed by a cool, and finally, each one ends with a black and white. So, what do we see here? What do you think of the 4 tones? At the end, I'll choose my favorite 4. I'll select a different tone for each one. My first impression is, I like the black and white. It's more dramatic than the regular color one. But then, that's me, and I'm a big fan of black and white in general. I also really like the warm tone. It creates an immediate sense of nostalgia and history, and it has a strong mood. They all strengthen the sculptural quality of the statue. I guess my least favorite here is the blue. As for the image, the dramatic low-light perspective and expressive pose immediately attract attention. The raised arm and megaphone create a strong sense of action and announcement. The statue is well framed against the sky, which helps isolate it, and I avoided the Charmera trap of having blown out highlights. The palm trees are a minor distraction, but overall, it's a win. Next one. The natural color version works well here because of the strong red of the rudder. Overall, the opening acts as a natural frame, effectively directing the viewer's eye to the propeller. Using the ship's structural opening as a frame was a creative compositional choice. Used well, this tactic adds focus and visual interest. Perhaps a tighter crop or different angle could simplify this particular scene, but it's an acceptable publicity shot. This image successfully presents the harpoon gun as the primary subject, with a strong directional composition. The bench and table in the background are a distraction, but I couldn't get a higher perspective without a ladder. Real-world constraints. It's got flaws, but it's also okay as a publicity shot. Next one. The contrasting red gears against the pale blue metal frame immediately attract attention. The mechanical detail creates a visually interesting shot. I did also mess this one up, so there's no black and white. This is a good shot. The diagonal gears lead the viewer's eye through the frame. A good one. And being an industrial subject, I guess the blue isn't too bad. My first proper fail. This is the first of the two I took handheld in very low light, and it shows. There's motion blur, or let's be more brutal and call it camera shake. The blue one is the worst, but they're all pretty bad. I don't think the Charmera's flash works very well. It certainly didn't come to the rescue. Moving on. Once again, the tiny flash made no measurable difference as far as I can see. A fail. The lighting is soft and even, allowing the rust texture to be seen clearly. What I was trying to capture was natural decay, but I'm not sure I got it. Tools can be very interesting subjects when their textures are emphasized, and the rust does add character. Not sure about this one. The ship's wheel. The circular structure gives the image a powerful visual anchor. The image does have a strong subject, and it creates an interesting pattern, and I think it's a borderline fail. The normal one is the best of a bad batch, so for publicity purposes it's usable, as long as it's used small. Once again, low light let us down. Moving on. This one's got some magic. The strong upward angle creates a sense of scale and height, giving the structure a dramatic presence against the sky. The clouds are blown out, but overall, an acceptable and usable shot. Now, this one's a big improvement. The funnel on the left and the water cannon on the right create a balanced arrangement across the frame. The chains and vertical posts add lines that guide the viewer's eye upward. Although the clouds are blown out, it's less of a distraction here. This one's a winner. A World War II anti-aircraft gun. At least that's what I think this is. Let me know if you know. I'm no expert. Taking this image posed some challenges, but I think I got a good shot. I couldn't get closer than this. It is what it is. An acceptable publicity shot. It would be fine in a brochure. The gun forms a strong diagonal and the harbour setting adds context and visual interest. All four are good, so I'll take it. A win. I don't exactly know why, but I like this one a lot. There's a strong message being conveyed here. Once it could fly like a bird, but no more. It has been stripped of its power. The exposed cockpit immediately creates a strong emotional response. The bright light entering from the left does blow out some spots, but here it also adds to the sense of exposure and decay. A good one. And this one is also a good one. The bold shapes immediately attract attention. The large cog in the foreground creates a sense of mechanical power, which is then reflected at the back. The normal one is clearly the best. It shows all of the colors. The textures are also visible, showing off the strong surface detail. This one clearly conveys ideas of strength, function, and industrial design. I like showcasing these otherwise hidden details. A winner. We're ending strong. This is the last one and probably the best of the day. Maybe I was just getting warmed up. The smokestack and cabin stand out clearly against the sky, and the viewpoint helps emphasize the height and structure of the ship. Once again, the strong diagonal makes for a strong composition. The low upward perspective adds drama. It's a deliberate photographic tactic that you can also use. A winner. So that's it for the Charmera's basic monochrome effects. I'm going to choose my favorite shots. Out of the 14 images I took on the day, the 4 strongest in my opinion are these. The lady in white, the dramatic tug against the sky, the stripped down helicopter cockpit, and finally, the Maritime crane, or rather, its cogs. So, which one will get which tone? Tough choice, so let's be practical. The lady in white gets my vote for the wall. It really suits her very well. I think for the blue, I'll go with a stripped down helicopter cockpit. It's metal after all, so the blue suits it. The cogs just have to be full color, otherwise they lose their punch, but again, this is just my personal choice. So that leaves the tugboat silhouetted against the sky. The black and white suits it very nicely. You could imagine it as a postcard in the foyer at the Maritime Museum. Do you still get postcards? Are they still a thing? I think I'm dating myself here. Too funny. I'm happy with my choice and I'm happy with the result. Out of the 14 images, I got quite a few keepers, and these I think are the best of the bunch, and they illustrate the monochrome effects very well. To be honest, I'm not a personal fan of the blue, but that said, it's also only my opinion. The cool tone certainly lends itself to things like engineering subjects. After all, it's the color of a traditional blueprint. For me, the warm tone will always enhance nostalgia, just like a sepia print. It's loaded with charm and conveys a sense of history. The black and white simplifies things, allows shapes and textures to stand out. As I said earlier, I'm a big fan of using black and white. It's expressive. So, what lies ahead? The final presets built into the Charmera are the pixel-based monochrome effects. This means no shades of grey, or any colour for that matter. Each pixel is either on or off. I'm fascinated and I can't wait to try it out. It comes in blue, red, yellow and black and white. So the next video will also feature images in batches of 4. I've got something exciting lined up, another Durban expedition, you'll see. Well, we're done for this episode, so spot you next time. Over and out.